Hello, welcome back or welcome. Today, I thought we would film a 24-hour reading challenge, which anyway, anyway, I've never done one of these challenges before, and I always thought they looked like fun. However, I am a sleepy girl. That's probably my number one trait. I love to sleep, and so it's something that's very daunting. I don't really know how well I will be able to do, but I think I've figured out the perfect time because I've been sick this past week, and because of that, I haven't been able to sleep well through the night, which is usually not a problem for me. But I have been really struggling to sleep these days, so I figured one, I need to fix my sleep schedule because I start my internship in exactly 2 weeks from now, and the hours that I'm waking up just will not cut it. So that's the first thing. I need to fix my sleep schedule. And the second thing is that if I can't sleep through the night, I might as well wake through the night, do this challenge while I have this once in a lifetime opportunity of not sleeping. And yeah, I thought that it would be fun. It's currently 7:53 p.m. We're starting at 8 p.m. and going until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Hopefully, by 8 p.m. tomorrow, when I'm done, I'll be ready to wrap it up and go to bed, and that might kind of jump scare my sleep schedule and fix it. Is it a little delusional? Maybe. Maybe, but we're gonna do it anyway. So I don't have a Kindle, but I do have my iPad and my phone, and I just have the Kindle app on both of them, and I use them religiously. So I realized yesterday that I have not been using my Kindle a lot at all, but I have been I kind of see Kindle as a form of social media. So sometimes I'll go and I'll scroll a little bit, see what they have to offer me, because I am subscribed to Kindle Unlimited. So sometimes I just want to know what they're offering me, and I kind of go between switching out books and just never reading some that were interesting to me at one point in time, obviously, because I added them to my library. So it's a toxic cycle of me just scrolling, adding books that I'm interested in, never reading them, and then doing the same thing and just exchanging books that I was interested in before that I've never read. So I thought today we could probably break that cycle, or at least try to, and read some of the books that I have on my Kindle. So I have a few that are at the top of my radar right now. So maybe we could talk about those. So the first one that I see here is Matchmaking for Beginners. It's basically about this girl who kind of has to take over a matchmaking business for an elderly woman that she had a relationship with or a friendship with. And I think it's set in the city, in New York City, but I could be completely wrong. I'm just saying that based on the cover. But yeah, I thought it looked cute and it sounded cute. It seems kind of like general fiction / romance fiction / romance, which is kind of my favorite combination, I think. So I'm definitely very excited about that. Then I have Just the Nicest Couple. I have a really tricky relationship with mysteries and thrillers. I either absolutely love it. I think the genre as a whole has the potential to be my favorite genre, but I could just never find the perfect ones. So I've been on the hunt, and Just the Nicest Couple sounds interesting to me. It's about this woman whose husband goes missing, and there's just this one, I guess, this other perspective of, I think, his secretary, and she told her husband about all of the events leading up to the husband's disappearance, and her husband told her not to tell anybody, especially not the wife. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I doubt we would know what's going on, but it seems like the secretary kind of knows what's going on as well as her husband. And the wife is trying to find her husband and figure out what happened. I have a rocky relationship with domestic thrillers. I've loved some and I've hated most. So I guess we'll see where this one falls. And the last one that's very, very high on my radar is Maybe Once, Maybe Twice by Kindle. The Kindle Unlimited side always blocks the author's name. So Maybe Once, Maybe Twice. I will obviously add a little picture up in the corner. And this one, I think this one is the one that I might start with. This one is about this girl who made a deal. You know that deal where if I'm not married by X age, we should get married, you know? And she made that deal with two different people. And they both kind of came to cash in that pact. And that sounds interesting. That sounds a little bit chaotic. And it sounds like a love triangle, but in the best way. Because I'm not really a love triangle fan per se, but this actually sounds really interesting. So I'm definitely, this one is very, very high on my radar. I'm thinking right now, I'm leaning more toward Just the Nicest Couple. I think that's the one that I'm most interested in, and I kind of want to start with thrillers before it gets too late, because then I'll get scared. So yeah, let's go. Okay, let's see how I fare. Okay, so don't mind the lighting. I definitely need to put the lights on soon because I don't want to fall asleep. But I'm currently on chapter 4, I think, or 5. They're not named, or they're not, the chapters aren't numbered, but there are 2 points of views. Christian and Nina are the 2 POVs. Nina and Lily work together and they're friends, and that's kind of how the characters are connected. I'm on chapter 4 or 5 right now. I'm actually really interested. I like the pacing of it a lot. I think Jake, who is, I guess, the victim in the story, he's already missing, and at this point nobody really suspects any foul play or anything. It's just kind of Nina, his wife, trying to figure out why he hasn't been returning her calls or her texts, and why he hasn't been home for the past, I think, 2 days or day and a half. And so I think the pacing is really good. The writing is really interesting. Okay, so I have some thoughts. Yeah, okay, so my first thought is that I'm enjoying it so far. I'm interested and it's keeping my attention really well, I would say. And I think the story is interesting. What is also interesting is that they ended up actually showing or actually telling us what Lily told Christian, which, okay, in the synopsis they said that somebody who knows a different side of the story, or who was the last person to see the guy that went missing, she tells her husband that she was the last person to see him, that she thinks, and that like she may be responsible or whatever, and her husband tells her to keep it quiet and don't tell anybody. So I'm really surprised that they told us what she told him, because in my head, if that was it, like if that is the whole mystery, they wouldn't tell us, you know? So at this point, obviously, I'm thinking it's not her. She's obviously not responsible for it. Or maybe she misremembered and mistold the story, but I don't think it's that either. And at this point, there's nobody that I could think of in the story that could be responsible for his disappearance. Because it's either her husband, so Lily's husband, Christian, who is the other POV in the book, or the guy who's missing, his wife, Nina, which just from the way that her perspective is told, it seems like she really doesn't know where he is. But also, she believes at this point still, I think we're like 15% in, and she is convinced that he just has not come home and he just kind of disappeared on her because they had a really big fight. And in my head, I'm not married, but even if my boyfriend never messaged and told me that he was home from work by 5 o'clock, I'm concerned. He should be home at 4:45. By 5 o'clock, I'm stressing. Even if we had a huge fight, you know? And I think this is like day 2 or day 3 of him not coming home. She checked their accounts. He never used the credit card. He never used their checking account. His best friend just called and said, hey, I can't find, like, I haven't been able to talk to him. He hasn't responded to any of my calls. Call the police. What do you mean? What do you mean? I can't ask him to call you back because he's not talking to me. Call the police. He is missing. What? That part feels very, like, unrealistic to me. And I think it's just, like, a plot device to extend the story and kind of keep us in suspense. But that is completely unrealistic to me. And she's crazy. But aside from that, I'm really enjoying it. I'm very intrigued by what's going on so far, and I want to know what's going on. Yeah, this is always the best part of mysteries for me. Like the beginning, the first 50%, I eat up always or almost always. The ending is usually where I get thrown. So I'm gonna read a little bit more, and I'll maybe check up at the 50% mark. Okay, so energy is fine. I would say it's about 2 hours. No, definitely almost 3 hours in. Yeah. Almost 4 hours in. I obviously cannot do math. Yeah, I started at 8:09. It's 11:52, so it's almost 4 hours in. And I am now at the 50% mark. I'm interested to see where it's going because there are some kind of unexplainable things that are going on right now that I don't know. I'm definitely loving the way it's written and like how mysterious the suspense is definitely built up a lot. So I'm liking it. That's all. Okay, so we're at the 80% mark officially, and I have, I think, 1 hour left on the book. That's what the Kindle says. But we're at 18 hours, 11 minutes. So, oh my god, did I lose it? Oh, yeah. First of all, I'm not that sleepy, which is really good. My brother came and he was keeping me company for a little while, so I think that helped. And I don't think we're at like the super difficult part of the morning yet. I think the 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. mark will definitely be really difficult. So I'll definitely need to like go make a matcha. And I'm really interested to see what goes on because some of the little oddball developments in the story are kind of obvious, and some of them have already like come to fruition, but what we still don't know is exactly what happened to Jake. And that is what I think will be like the determining factor of how much I end up enjoying this book, because I don't know, I'm literally on the edge of my seat, and the pacing of this book is superbly done, I would say, because even if I wasn't like binging this book over 6 hours, I would always want to be in this book until it's done, knowing what's happening, knowing what's next, and when the shoe's going to drop. I think the proximity of the characters to each other as clues kind of start to surface and balls kind of start to drop is like perfect. It lends itself so well to a really intense, high stakes kind of situation. I fear it's about to get crazy. I think it's about to get crazy. No, no, because it's the way I don't want to finish this book. It's such. Is it a moral dilemma? I don't even know. Because both perspectives, I think that's why it's done such a good job at catching me, because both perspectives are completely valid. And it's like I don't want one thing to be found out, but I also don't want the other person to be left in the dark, because that's unfair. And it's like I can't. And there are so many little contributing factors to the the tension. There's so many contributing factors to the tension in this book that just keep piling. It's literally like layered tension. The tension is palpable, like I feel it. And I'm stressed. I am stressed out. Okay, I had kind of a fear that this is how things are going to turn. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I guess we will see. I did not expect them to go there. I did not expect them to go there. Okay, this book is throwing me. It's throwing me off now because as soon as I think I know where it's going, it goes somewhere else. First of all, I need to put on a show in the background because now it's getting a little too, it's not even scary, but I am a scaredy cat. So I need to put on a show. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I don't know, I had this inkling in the back of my mind, but not really. And it's not even like a big twist, so don't like misquote me. But I can't tell you exactly what I'm talking about, so I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised at where they're taking this, I must say. Wait. I didn't know that's what they were insinuating. What? Okay, cut the cameras. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I didn't know it all the way, but in the back of my head, I knew it. I just knew it. I knew it. I just finished. Just the nicest couple. And we're on 16 hours and 54 minutes left, which means that took me a little over 7 hours. No, 6. I'm so not locked into the math right now. Yeah, a little over 6 hours. That was a trip. I definitely really enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it significantly more than I was expecting to. So now I need to go take a little break, make a matcha, because it's becoming that time. It's 3:16 a.m. right now, which is dangerous territory for me to be doing it with 0 caffeine. It's not coffee or an energy drink, but I need something. So I definitely need to go do that. But before, I wanted to kind of decide which one I wanted to read next. Definitely not one of the other thrillers. I had my fix for the day I fear, but okay, right now what is calling to me is A Distant Heart. That's the book by Sonali Dev, or Maybe Once, Maybe Twice. I'm thinking if I need something fast-paced to get me through the early hours of the morning, so I think Maybe Once, Maybe Twice might be fun, but I think this is a risky choice because I've never heard anybody talk about this book before. So it makes me nervous about if it's bad, if it's boring, then it might put me to sleep. So I think what I will do is I will start Maybe Once, Maybe Twice. And if it doesn't keep my interest, then I will move on. Okay, so first impression of Or maybe I should tell you the time. Okay, we're on 16 hours and 8 minutes left, and I'm on chapter 3. I made a matcha and I brought myself some snacks. By snacks, I mean some cherries and Ritz. Yeah, Ritz. But yeah, I'm on chapter 3 of Maybe Once, Maybe Twice, and I'm enjoying it so far. I like the writing style of this author. Let me find her name because I don't know why. Okay, Alison Rose Greenberg, that's her name. So I'm on chapter 3. I'm liking it so far. I'm interested to see how I feel about the main female character because I could sense that she may become a little bit cheesy or a little bit like overbearing. So I'm definitely nervous about that. But other than that, the way that the first main love interest was introduced was actually really cute. I liked it. I liked the friends to lovers kind of situation that they kind of introduced very briefly, and we have not come to the point where they both come and, or like the two love interests come and try to marry her as yet. We haven't even been introduced to the other love interest or the other person that she made a pact with. So I'm interested to see if, because it kind of feels like they're leaning more towards this specific love interest, the one that was introduced first. And I feel like a love triangle should have equality, you know? We should have a good chance at loving both of them. Or else it doesn't really feel like a conflict, you know? So I hope that they introduce the next love interest soon. But yeah, so far so good. I'm enjoying it. Okay, wait, but I actually their their meet cute was actually so cute. It was very short and sweet, I think, but I don't know. I don't feel like a meet cute needs to be super like groundbreaking and crazy, and it definitely does need to be super long. But this one was like very short at the end of a chapter, and I thought it was so cute. I didn't realize that this was like a musician kind of situation, so that was interesting. I don't think I've read any romance books or any books really, now that I think about it, where the female main character is a musician. So that should be interesting to read about. And so far I'm definitely really liking the way that it's written. So that's good. Okay, we're on 15 hours and 34 minutes left, and I fear we're getting tired. I did just finish my matcha, and it's 4:35 a.m. I'm struggling, so I am going to need to figure out a way to keep myself up in the next few hours. But yeah, I just wanted to update because I was feeling very energized up until I think the last 30 to 45 minutes. And now I'm slowly crashing. I don't know if it's because I'm so tired, but I'm eating this up. I absolutely love it so far. We've finally got introduced to the second Avenger. I very love it. If it's not clear, I just woke up. For the update, I fell asleep again. Forget that. It's currently 1:31 p.m. and I've been reading again for probably the next half an hour, but we're currently at 6 hours 38 minutes left on the clock. But I fear I was sleeping for 6 hours, give or take, and I've actually been really enjoying seeing how much I could read during a 24-hour period. So I think what I'll do is add the next 6 hours to the clock, but I will be sleeping tomorrow at 8 p.m. or tonight. Yeah, I will be going to bed tonight at 8 or 9 p.m. So we won't be adding the 6 hours today, but we will add the 6 hours tomorrow during the day. So that's kind of just how I'm recovering from it, because I'm not mad about falling asleep. I love my sleep, as I've said at the beginning of this video. And at the time, I was not even retaining anything. It wasn't even making sense to keep reading. So we tried, but it's not the end of the world. And we're still gonna try to complete the challenge. So Maggie, she kind of has 2 relationships that we're exploring, and one of the relationships is with her longtime best friend. So like maybe over a decade they've been best friends who have been harboring secret feelings for each other, blah blah blah. And I don't think that I like that trope. I could get behind second chance if, you know, they were exes and then they went in each other's lives for a while, they get back together, reunite. But I think like quiet pining and being in close proximity for so many years and introducing to boyfriends and, you know, having those little infidelity moments with each other while you have like other partners and significant others feels like using people and, you know, saying things like, oh, it's temporary, but they don't know that, you know. And I don't know, that feels very icky to me, and I definitely don't like that trope, like that's where their relationship is grounded and where it's based on. So I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on that. I don't love it, but I'm enjoying the story regardless, and I'm definitely loving the like music aspect of it. So yeah. Okay, so I just had to make my boyfriend some soup and take it to him because he got sick from me, most likely. But I've made a lot more progress. I think we're running out of time. Yeah, we have 3 hours and 52 minutes left. So I want to see if I could finish this book in that time, and then we'll start a new book and finish the next 6 hours tomorrow. But I do have to go with my mom to drop my dad to the airport tonight around 7:30, which is right before the cutoff time. So I guess I will update once I get home if I finish the book or not and how I felt about it. But so far so good. I don't really have much more to say. It definitely is giving lull. If y'all have seen that movie with Miley Cyrus from like maybe 2009, I used to eat, sleep, and breathe that movie. It was so good. I used to watch it over and over and over all the time. And there's a specific character in here that's definitely giving that vibe. So I'm definitely enjoying it. There isn't a lot going on or a lot to say about it, but I've been enjoying it so far. I'm definitely partial to one love interest / one love story over the other, and I kind of already insinuated that there's just this one trope that I really don't like that is being used in the other love story. But I just love this guy way more too, and it just seems like they're so serious about each other. They feel like soulmates, and this is like a true second chance, and I am eating it up, I must say. I definitely love this so much more. I'm enjoying this part of the book. Okay, we could talk about the time and stuff later because this 24-hour situation is all over the place, but I'm almost done with maybe once, maybe twice. I think like 93% of the way, so I really am almost done. But I was just kind of having a breakdown. I did not expect this book to make me cry. Okay, so it's currently 10:43 p.m. So let's kind of break down what is going on with this challenge. So I finished, obviously, 24-hour period at 8:09 p.m. I was in the car and I think, maybe 70% through, maybe once, maybe twice. And I just finished it. So as I said earlier, I will be adding the 6 hours that I slept this morning into the 24-hour period, but I'll be doing that tomorrow. So as for today, we're done with our reading hours. However, I just read for an extra 2 hours to finish maybe once, maybe twice. And so tomorrow we'll read for 4 hours. I'm not sure which book I'm going to read just yet, but it's obviously one of the books that I discussed at the beginning of the video. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. It's currently, actually that's not a rewind at all, but it is currently 4:40 p.m., which means I've officially finished the 24-hour period plus the 6 hours that I added on for my little nap yesterday. Okay, at around 12, I added in, or I started the last 4-hour stint of this 24-hour thing, and I started The Starfish Sisters by Barbara O'Neill. I've seen Barbara O'Neill's name before, but I've never read a book by her before or listened to a book by her before. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but I've been enjoying it a lot. Actually, I've been listening to it non-stop for the past 4 hours. And this book is basically about it's kind of like a, not slice of life, but it's a story of these two girls who grew up as best friends, and it kind of tells the tale of their lives and their friendship, and you know how they became estranged in their older age and stuff like that. And I've been loving it a lot. The then and now timeline, I feel like, works really seamlessly. At the beginning, I've been listening to it on audio because the audio is available with the Kindle book, but at the beginning I definitely had a little trouble deciphering between the two characters. But now that I think I'm 60% into it, I definitely could tell the difference, and I know both of them individually. And yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. I feel like this explores a lot of interesting themes. It talks about womanhood and motherhood and long-term friendships as females, and comparison in female friendships, and jealousy, and always wanting what the other has, which I think is something that kind of every young girl could relate to. I think as you get older, it kind of fades away, or you would hope that it does. But at a certain age where you kind of compare yourself to every other woman on the planet, it's definitely like a huge thing. And I think they talk about it really subtly, but really well. And I think the relationship that they're portraying between two main characters, it feels very sisterly, because the plot of this is that they're currently estranged, but something really difficult, very sad, happened to one of them, and so the other kind of steps up and is taking care of her and making sure that she's okay and that she's eating and that she's safe. This is also set in our world because it talks about COVID and the pandemic, and I think enough time has passed since the peak of the pandemic that I can now read about it and enjoy it. I remember when I was reading Tom Lake, I didn't really love it that much, and that was only a couple months ago, but I think they did it so well in this book where it is kind of like an afterthought, and they bring it up sometimes and talk about how difficult it was from the different perspectives. But I definitely like the way that they handle it in this book, and yeah, I'm definitely loving it. I'm not done, and obviously I will add my final thoughts when I do my wrap up at the end of the month. But I'm definitely really engrossed. There are some secrets between them, some age-old secrets, some boy trouble and stuff like that. So it honestly, it is women's fiction at its finest. It discusses all of the things that you could think of, and it also has a historical fiction theme where I believe that something that's actually real is kind of at the heart of it, but I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. So obviously when I finish the book I will go back and read up on it, but as of right now I've just been loving listening to it in my ears and just hearing the story. I could picture it so clearly, and I love the focus on female friendship and female sisterhood and female relatives, because we also kind of follow one of the woman's daughter and granddaughter and kind of hear their stories. There's also talk about religion and an abusive father and an abusive childhood for one of the characters, and it discusses a lot of things. So definitely look up the triggers if any of those things feel like they're veering on a nerve. But I'm loving it so far. So that's the sisterhood, or no, the Starfish Sisters. So now then we can wrap it up and give my very final thoughts on maybe once, maybe twice, and Just the Nicest Couple, which I don't know, today or these past 24 or 48 hours have been so fun because I've read 3 books back to back that I've absolutely loved, and I did not expect that at all. The first one that I read was Just the Nicest Couple, and I completely binged that. I read that one in 7 hours. I did absolutely nothing else for that 7 hour period, and I was just completely hooked. I loved. Okay, for Just the Nicest Couple, I've given a lot of my thoughts throughout, so I won't go into too much detail. But I liked the way that the suspense was carried throughout the story. We didn't really know what was going on until the very, very, very end. And I love that it kind of shone a light on characters that you thought were just the nicest couple. And it kind of puts into question, what would you do for the person that you love, and how far would you go to protect them? And I think that's more the theme of this than really like a missing person or that kind of mystery. I think that was definitely on the back burner, and that's difficult for me to say because I love a good mystery, I love a good twist, and that's usually like, if I could figure out a twist, then I'm disappointed. But with this one, I felt like there was a lot more depth, and there was something to be said about the things that they both did to either protect or, and that was a really interesting theme to explore, I would say. And then I thought that it was really interesting to follow the spouses in this scenario, as opposed to obviously the person who's missing and the person that we think did it. So I don't know, I really loved the perspective. I loved the pacing. I thought the setting was okay. It wasn't like super creepy or scary or anything like that. It was just okay. I liked the school setting because Nina and Lily, who were the 2 wives, they both work at the same high school, and so there's this like very close proximity between them. They're also friends, and so the person who's looking for her husband and the person that we believe killed the husband or injured the husband or whatever is like in each other's faces every day, and that added like a really good layer of tension, I would say. I definitely enjoyed that. And yeah, I thought, as far as thrillers go, I'm not very big on thrillers, but as far as they go, I really like this. If I had to rate it, I would probably say 4 to 4.5 stars, somewhere in there, because I don't have a bad thing to say about it. I think it was done really well. The writing was good, the characters were good, the tension and the suspense was immaculate, and the twist was good. You know, it's something that I had in the back of my head, but it's not like I knew what the twist was and that it didn't catch me off guard, because it was like a satisfying thing more so than, oh yeah, I knew this kind of feeling. So overall, I would say really good. I definitely recommend it. And then the next one, maybe once, maybe twice. I have been thinking about this all day, and I think, sorry if you hear my crocs, I think this one is a testament to kind of sitting on a book and feeling your feelings about it for a little while before you give your final thoughts, because this one was just so good. I loved the main female character, or the main character, period. I really loved her, and I really loved the way that, what's her name? Greenberg. I love the way that Greenberg explored this love triangle situation, because it was tricky, and it was a love triangle that I felt was difficult to navigate. I think sometimes love triangles can be very unconvincing because it's just innate to put yourself in a situation and be like, okay, yeah, obviously I would choose him over him, it's no question. But in this scenario, it was difficult. I obviously had a preference, and I knew who I wanted her to be with or who I preferred her to be with, but that doesn't mean that that was the right choice, you know? And so I think that she made it really difficult to put yourself in Maggie's shoes and say, okay, yeah, obviously this is a no-brainer. It's him or it's him. You know, I thought that that was really good, and I definitely did not know who she was going to choose until the end, which, as I said, added so much. It made it a lot more convincing and a lot more real and a lot more heartbreaking when she did eventually have to tell somebody no, you know, because you got attached to the idea of both of them and how their lives, the what if of her future with either of them. So it was fascinating, honestly, to follow her story and also to see her rise to a different level in her career and kind of experience some success after a lot of failure and a lot of sadness and loss in her life. And so it was very hopeful at the end, and I really liked that. I was just very much rooting for her as a character and rooting for her to kind of find her true love and find who she really wanted to be with and find her happiness in her career and with her best friend and stuff like that. And I definitely I loved this one. I think this one was definitely like flat 4.5, 4.75. I don't know if it's something that I would think of going forward and like have on my mind all the time, but as of right now and in the past like 20-ish hours that I've finished it, I've been thinking about it a lot. So I don't know, maybe by the end of the month my mind might change, but as of right now I feel like it's a solid 4.5. I absolutely loved it and I would recommend it highly. If you love triangle, if you love second chance romance, this is it. This is where it gets good. This is the kind of second chance that I really love and appreciate. So I ate this one up, I must say. And yeah, I'm so glad that I ended up really enjoying all of the books that I was reading or that I just had in my library, because as I said in the intro, I definitely have a bad habit of adding stuff that look interesting and then exchanging them for better options or stuff like that when I'm scrolling through Kindle. And so I'm really glad that I ended up picking them up and reading them and enjoying every single one of them. Even though we didn't do it in a 24-hour span, it was good. I would say that this was successful. I would definitely do it again, maybe. Maybe I'll split up the 24 hours differently, but this was really fun. So thank you so much for watching and stay tuned.